I have no idea what I'm doing, just so you know. Let me introduce you to my bedroom. This is the canvas we are working with. I know it's not a big space at all, and I know it has so much potential. It serves as a bedroom, but also it's my working space, it's my office, let's say, and it's where I record the videos. So I want to focus on those 3 points when doing this transformation. That means that we're gonna focus on organization. We need to solve storage problems because I have art supplies everywhere you cannot imagine, and having them in the right space keeps my mind sane. So we're gonna try and do that, okay? Also, when talking about decor, I think it's gonna be smart to have 2 focal points, okay? One's gonna be the bedroom, no, not the bedroom, the bed, and the other one it's gonna be this corner here. And that way we can visually separate the 2 main purposes of this room. Also, as you may know, I love plants and I want to keep them around me because they give me a lot of joy and peace. So I want to treat them actually like they are one more part of this design, kinda like a special pieces of art. And I feel like right now we are not doing that. So yeah, I'm gonna be focusing on that on a future episode. And also, I wanna keep all this low budget. The theme here it's gonna be whimsical forest picnic. I made a mood board for you to understand this concept because I don't think there is a style that fits. In this first episode, we're gonna attempt to do the messy part, so painting. Let's do it. I'm gonna go to the paint store now because I really need to buy some things. First, white paint. It's an off-white that I don't have. And also brushes and all that I already have from previous years. But what I don't have and I think I need, it's a specific product for one of the walls because it's peeling. There used to be mold. I need to solve that somehow and I don't know which product to use. And I need colors. I already have some. I don't know if I will pick any, to be honest, because I have greens and I have terracottas, and I think mixing them with acrylic, it's gonna be enough for the 2 wall murals that I want to do. One next to the table. It's gonna be like a gingham pattern in hopefully some kind of mustard. And the other one, it's right behind the bed. And I'm planning to do there a landscape, a forest whimsical landscape, but I already have also the colors from that because I'm gonna be mixing. And honestly, it's a big space, but at the end of the day you just don't need as much paint as a paint store sells you, because I think minimum it's gonna be 1 liter of paint of each color, and I don't need that much at all. So I'm just gonna be utilizing what I have to keep it low budget. Let's go. That's the color I ended up making. It's not exactly mustard, but it's the closest I could get. This is how it looks once it's dry. And I think it will be nice in here. We're gonna start with the landscape. I'm so nervous. And I've been sketching some trees where I want them to be. We will see. And I have my paints here ready. And this is gonna be my palette. Yes, we are recycling here. And my paints. It's gonna be wall paints, but to achieve some tones, I think I will have to mix some acrylics. But that's it. I have a bunch of brushes and I have to start, I guess. We're gonna start with the background, and light is gonna come from the middle of my room. So from here, the path is here. It all makes sense, I think, I guess, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing, just so you know. And I want to lean more towards warm tones for everything in the room, so that includes this. I'm gonna try to avoid blues, but it's a sky, so I think I'll use some kind of gray. I tried not to paint on top of the sketch tree lines to have the reference for the future. I used different green tones, and the darker the green was, the closer the trees were in the picture. And that basically took me the whole day. On day 2, I focused on painting the forest floor and the path. I tried picturing where the light was coming from, in my case right from the middle, and think of the different levels of the forest floor. Where there are humps, I use darker green, as well as where I thought the shadows were projected. I left the lighter green for the forest clearings and lighted areas, closer to the light source. The brush strokes here were a bit all over the place. I tapped when I was closer to the horizon line, in trees and bumps. And I did long horizontal strokes in the, let's say, open areas. I kept both of the bottom corners dark green, because I assume they were farther from the light. And I couldn't record much of the path since the battery died. Sorry. I wanted a forest of different tree species, so I went with the birch and something like sequoias or cedars, and it took me a while to decide which tree was gonna be what, but I liked how it turned out. To paint the trees, I went first with a lighter tone and then on top created the shadows in grays or browns. I recommend you start with the trees that are farther. It's gonna be easier, especially if there are branches coming out of them. Let's see if our paint from yesterday it's still fresh. I cover it in a bag. I doubt it because it's like so many hours, but it kinda is, surprisingly. So I used to use this method of putting the paint more like when it was in this kind of containers, putting it in the fridge, and it stays fresh as well. So probably fresher there. The only birch tree that's left is this one, left without the digits. And I'm gonna try explain how I do it. Basically, birch trees start with more like a woody texture, so more dark, and then it lightens towards the top. So yeah, first thing, do the shadows on the bottom. And now you can add depth, let's say, with a darker gray tone. I'm using a flat brush for this because it's also good to do a little dry brush and like press and do like a little line. I'm gonna try to soften it a little, because we also have to have in mind that these trees are supposed to be closer. closer. So this one should be as detailed as these ones, because they are on the same horizontal line. And now I'm adding these lines like at the bottom to do like the bark of this kind of trees. Don't go too crazy with this. Sometimes the least the better. And now we have to do lines. Pretty simple. Lines in a darker gray than the background wood, with a small brush, flat as well. Just here and there, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. In this other tree I also did some dots, but here, as it's farther away in the horizon, you really cannot see the dots, so just lines around the branches, like this one. It tends to be darker, at least on the reference trees that I've seen. Where there is a branch, it comes out darker. That's it. Okay. We can start with the leaves now, I believe. For the leaves I used two different brushes. In the case of the dark trees I used a long flat brush and a fan brush, because I wanted the leaves to be small and pointy. However, for the birch tree, the white one, I used a round brush and made some clusters in a lighter green and then added more leafy shapes with a darker green tone. In this case, I also recommend to start with the trees that are farther, as it will be easier to create the depth effect. This is how it turned out. I really like it. I couldn't be more satisfied with the end result, to be honest. I wasn't expecting this to turn out that good, to be honest, again. Because I don't consider myself good at painting or anything. But it's true that forest and trees, it's what really inspired me. And if I have to paint anything, that's what I usually go for. I guess that's why they turn out that good. But I don't know, like every time I look at it, it gives me a lot of joy, and I'm really proud. Anyway, we're not near finishing, to be honest. There are a lot of parts that I still need to work on this room. Like fabrics, like I want this to be a cozy corner, and that's probably only going to be achieved by adding linen, I guess. And lighting is going to be the theme of the next video. That's what I want to focus next. And honestly, I think it's a big part of the design to elevate the spaces and guide the side to a part of the room you want to focus on. Also, a future thing that I want to do, and probably is going to go in that video too, it's the wall that I have in front of me. I want to do something with it. like some kind of gallery wall or like shelves, or maybe a little bit of both, and that's gonna be also in the next video. But for now, that's it. I think that was pretty intense. The painting is done finally, and I can sleep in my room. I really missed it, honestly. It was a long process, like around 3 weeks, and total budget, let me tell you, it wasn't as expensive as I thought it was gonna be, and it turned out to be 70 euros, which, if we compare, I don't know, just getting the wallpaper of something similar to this, yeah, totally worth it, even though it was a lot of work, but I don't regret it at all, and it was a great experience. So if you like this, please give it a like. Tell me anything, any question, anything you want to know about me or about the room or anything down below in the comments, and I will answer you. I promise. And that's it. See you soon. Bye.